Is this the worst ever era of American pop culture?
Possibly. Yeah.
Me.
I mean, TV's a little like, stale. There's no movies that I'm like, God, I got to see that, anymore. And I think it is. And, here's the other thing is there's all these problems, and then AI is coming right around the corner. I don't know if guys know this, but WGA and IATSE's deals are up in a year. So they're going to have to renegotiate again. And I honestly think the WGA, kind of threw everybody under the bus with the AI stuff, but I don't think they can regulate it. The genie's out of the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many writers I know that are using it, and it's not, it can be a tool you can use. I say, it's still, you kind of have to know how to like fly a plane to use autopilot for now, but who knows in 2 years from now what it's going to be like.
This is from The Atlantic. It says, is this the worst ever era of American pop culture? And the story, which, we could get into, but really talks about the decline of the West and how art is
69
has been, it's stagnating. You've got, everything is a remix of things. This is why I think something like Sinners is doing well, even though Sinners does have its influences. It's original IP. It's not a Marvel property. It's not based on anything. It's not a comic book or whatever. It's not a sequel or a requel. I mean, all these comic properties and comic book movies, people are losing interest. And Thunderbolts, I mean, you know what? The general reaction, we saw that screening, the audience liked it. Generally, the audience enjoyed it and had a good time. But this movie's underperforming.
Yeah. But remember, what was the number 2 movie last week? It was Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
It's the fact that people are going back in time to watch movies that are old because they're better. I was just talking with my daughter. We don't listen to music anymore because music sucks. And so we go back and listen to the old stuff. We don't know how to make art anymore. It's all commercialized or it's all politicized.
And then Alan and I were at CinemaCon, and Fathom Entertainment is that they changed
Fathom
their
Entertainment
name.
now.
Fathom Entertainment reported it was 2024 was their biggest year ever for their company. Like it was, their business doubled, and it's all they do is re-release movies like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which I saw on Sunday. And when re-releases actually make it into the top box office, re-releases and not new movies. Do you remember going to the movies in the 80s and 90s, and there'd be like 5 movies opening in a weekend, and they were all bangers in very different genre categories: horror, rom-com, teen sex comedy, a genre that is dead now because of wokeness or what politically correct BS. And you could find any kind of a movie across all different genres and just pick one, and it would be fun. So I don't know. I'm just I fear for the future of the industry and want to get your thoughts, like as an indie film producer. And where do you think where the good ideas going to come from? Clearly not from elected officials.
No. On the business side, I don't know where they're going to come from unless it just implodes so badly, something will happen. But I just think they don't have any. I don't have any faith in them to fix this problem. Because they've had a long time to do it. Sorry.
Do you feel like it's Hollywood that we're really talking about and not necessarily the United States film industry, or are we in fear of losing films altogether and it going overseas?
I think in California's screwed because the way it's all set up and that no one cares and no one's really taking the lead on it. It's just, we know we live in California. I don't want to devolve into a political discussion, but there's a lot of wrongheadedness. There's a lot of California assemblymen and state senators who just pass bills to get in the news that are absurd and weird, instead of focusing on how do we bring more business back? How do we put money in people's pockets? They don't care about that stuff.
This is the problem with all of our elected officials. Whenever you watch a thing on social media or big tech, like there's a Senate conference hearing, there's a conference hearing, a congressional hearing, and they bring in the tech. It's like talking to your grandmother about Instagram. They do not, elected officials do not understand these devices we all have, our phones, right? They don't get it. And so I doubt when you see just how bad they are at discussing intelligently how tech works. Imagine how bad they are at understanding how the industry works, how Hollywood works.
Yeah, that's my big problem with it all, is that they don't have any business sense. And most of the people, you look at them, they're urban planners, community organizers, lawyers. Like, there's no one from business. Now, a lot of people would say, yeah, Trump's from business, I hate him. But that's not what I'm talking about, is like right or left. I'm just talking about being smart about business. You've got to look. I subscribe to the French Revolution theory. If 50% of the people can't pay their bills, we're in a revolution. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you got to like focus on that more importantly than anything, really. I mean, I always believe you can't be progressive till you make sure everybody's taken care of financially, then you can think about other things. But
it's a luxury.
Luxury. I'm jaded, but that's how I think about it. But I don't know. I think what Alan was saying, I think the movie industry is actually fine. I think it needs to be kind of put through what it's going through right now, because that's how we're going to get better movies. It's you can still make money, you can still get things out there. But as California, I think screwed. But the thing is, look, there's also a lack of what you're saying, Chris, a lack of like wanting to take any chances or do anything cool. And I'm guilty of that as much as anybody else. I need to make money. I got a kid and a girlfriend and a house, so I have to get paid. Did I want to write that Kill 'Em All 2 Van Damme movie I did last year? No. Do I think it's good? I'm not going to say anything. But I'm like, okay, nobody's going to see this. I got a great payday. It shows up on Netflix and it's top 10 movie for like 2 weeks. Like, what?
And your name's on there.
Yeah, but I mean, at least I got paid well. I've learned to get paid well if something's, not going to be something you're proud of. But I've got all these great scripts that people read and they just are like, well, that's great. We can't do it. You got anything with people running in circles, shooting each other? Because they don't want to take the chances. And another thing that's really depressing, and it goes back to the size of films and how tight the margins are, is 10, 15 years ago, you'd shoot an indie film in 25 days, maybe 30 if you're lucky. And then it kind of got down to 20. Now it's down to 17. And now I'm hearing all the time people trying to make movies for shooting 15 days. So you're only in a 3-week period and you don't have to go into the 4th week. So it's like 3 5-day weeks. Let's make the movie in 15 days. You can't make a good movie in 15 days. Unless you're really a good filmmaker and there's no gags and there's no, but if you made a very stripped down, $250,000 movie, you can, but you can't make a $2 million action movie in 15 days, and that's what they're trying to do. And that's why there's so much bad stuff out there.